Good morning, everyone. Today, to help you with your extended writing assignment at the end of class, we're going to talk about a strategy which, as many of you transition to high school next year, will become increasingly important. That is how you embed a quote. So, first, we're going to start with the definition. An embedded quote, it incorporates your own writing and direct evidence from a text, and please make sure that you're copying in these notes, in a seamless fashion, which means like a smooth fashion, which creates clarity for the reader, right? So the biggest thing here is we're trying to get away from saying in the text it states, or in the text and then the title and it states, right? Giving you multiple options to create originality and uniqueness in your writing and ultimately stronger writing that's more clear for the reader. So the original quote here, this is from the beginning of The Gift of the Magi. She had put it aside 1 cent and then another in her careful buying of meat and other food. Right? So I chose this piece of evidence, and now if I'm going to quote that, right, or embed it within a written response like an SCR or an essay, I might say within the story, comma, Della saved, and then quotations, because I'm going to actually pull this part from the original quote, 1 cent and then another as she spent as little possible on food. Right? This is a creative way of incorporating both the quote and your own writing, right, in that seamless fashion. So the steps that are involved in doing this, right, it takes a little bit of thought to do this, but we're going to ask you to do this in your written response today. So the first thing that you're going to need to do, like always, is choose the best quote or piece of evidence to support your topic, your thesis or topic sentence. Right? So I'm going to, for this example, I'm going to use the same one that was used up here. Right? She had put it aside, 1 cent and then another in her careful buying of meat and food. Right? So step two is within that quote, I'm actually going to look for what are the words within this quote here that are actually most important. Right? And when I think about that, I want to think about, right, the impact of money and how careful she was with it. So this part right here, I want you to, where it says 1 cent and then another, right? This is important because it shows just how much she saved and how much importance she gave to saving. And I want you to go ahead and bold this at the top, right? That is the evidence, the most important part of the evidence here, right? Then the next part, in order to flesh this out, you're going to have to add your own writing, right? So you're going to have to summarize the less important parts of the quote in your own words. So a great transition to use, right, if you've already mentioned the story title, is within the story, comma, right? The next thing is, right, I need to know what's going on with 1 cent and then another if I've never seen this quote before. So within the story, and I know that this is Della who's saving this. Della saved. And something important here is you don't actually need a comma like you traditionally would if you said like in the text it states, because it reads as one continuous sentence here, right? So all you have to do is put the quotation marks. You actually don't need a comma before it. So within the story, Della saved 1 cent and then another, right? And I know that based on this quote, she is, if I'm going to summarize this, that when she bought food, she was careful, right? To not spend much money. So, as she carefully, or as she spent as little, and please go ahead and type this in, as possible while buying food. Right? So now I have all the main ideas that were in this original quote, but I did it in a way that incorporated my own writing with the quote itself, or with the most important quote itself, to make a seamless delivery of the evidence that supports your thesis. So once again, if I read this, within the story, Della saved 1 cent and then another and another as she spent as little as possible while buying food, right? Now you have an embedded quote, and you're going to be asked to do this within your written response today.